Marina Webster, your host for Inspiring Author TV. And today I have a wonderful guest here, Terry Byrne. Welcome, Terry.
Thank you, Arena.
Terry wrote a book, Australia, Wake Up. So Terry, tell me about your book and why you wrote this book.
Well, I've been around for quite a number of years, you can probably tell. And I grew up during the Second World War, and I've seen a lot of things happen in Australia. I was born in Australia. I'm a second generation Australian, and I have a great love for my country. But talking to many people, some friends, some strangers, over a number of years, I sense there's a great concern amongst the general community about what has happened in our country over the past 40, 50 years, and more particularly what has happened to it and is happening to it in more recent times. So, about 7 or 8 months ago, one night I was thinking, well, I talk about things, I listen to what other people say, maybe I need to write some sort of book. I'd never imagined that I would ever write a book, but I did it with considerable help.
Okay. So this is more like book about politics, Australian politics, or what it's all about?
No, it's not a political book, it's a general type of book. The book covers a lot of different areas, industry, farming, immigration, the freedoms that our forefathers have fought for and achieved for us, economics. I don't claim to be an expert on any of those things. I'm a pharmacist. I've done a few other things like farming and other smaller businesses, so I do not claim to be an expert. What I've really done is put a number of propositions together in this book. Some of them are quite contentious, which I've done deliberately because I would like to think that people who read this book will be activated to discuss the problems that they see in our world, talk to other people, create a debate within the community, and hopefully smarter people than I am will come up with good ideas and hopefully solutions to a lot of our country's problems. So that's essentially what the book is about.
Okay, so it is basically about controversial issues in Australia?
Yes.
To provoke people to think?
Yes.
And to provoke people to come to some sort of conclusion?
Yes, yeah. And hopefully if we can get a big enough discussion going, that some good ideas, some good solutions will come out of that discussion. I think the title of the book is probably provocative, but deliberately so. Because I feel there's a lot of apathy, there's a lot of complacency in the community. And if I can shake some of that loose and get people thinking and talking, I mean, there are a lot of intelligent people in Australia.
That's right.
We have 23 million people, and I'd say most of them are pretty bright. A lot of them are much brighter than I. So if we can get this discussion going, get a debate going, and get some good ideas coming out of that debate and discussion, I feel that I will have come a long way to achieving my aims in putting this book out in the community.
Okay. Terry, can you give me some examples of issues you described in this book? Like what particular issues you discussed?
Well, over many years, I probably first started taking a real interest in current affairs and politics and what makes our country work, probably going back 60 years or so. My parents were very intelligent people, and so I could talk to them, I could listen to them, listen to their ideas. They went through the Depression and lost everything they had. They picked themselves up and rebuilt. I had the man to whom I was apprenticed in pharmacy was a man I admired. He was not only an excellent pharmacist, he was a great citizen. He served his country during the Second World War, and I learnt a lot from him. I learnt a lot from good school teachers over my school career. And I mentioned one in particular, Bill Gleason, who was a history teacher. And it was largely through him that I developed my interest in history. And I believe that history is something that teaches us, and from what we can learn and apply to the present and look towards the future. So quite a number of people have inspired me in different ways over my lifetime. There are some that I've acknowledged in the book. I've certainly had great help from William, my publisher, and great help from Elizabeth Murphy, my editor and mentor. I didn't have a clue how to write a book. So with the help of these good people, I've put something together that I hope people will enjoy and will apply some of my ideas.
Okay, Terry, so from what you said, I understood that one of the examples of issues you discussed in your book was history of Australia, or history of people, or
history generally.
History general what? Of the history of the world, or history of what?
Well, the world and Australia, because the two are interlinked. And what happens in the world has an effect, and has always had an effect on Australia during its 200 years existence. But other things that I've raised, I'm concerned about the way our industries have gone. Now, I grew up, when I was at high school,
So this is economic. So this is another issue, is economical issue.
Well, economical, and also the sustainability of our country. When I was at high school, I had any number of jobs I could have applied for. Sadly, that's not the case now, and I'm not concerned for myself, because my life, I'm on the latter end of my lifespan, but I'm concerned for my children, and I'm concerned for my grandchildren, and my great-grandchild, because at the moment, I don't see a great future for them.
Why?
Okay, we have, most of our industries have been sent offshore. I'm very concerned about our economic position, and have been for a number of years. I'm concerned about our defence situation, in as much as we're isolated. We have one ally, and that ally is halfway around the world. And we're sitting in the middle of 3 big oceans, and we're only a small population, and I would hate to think there's ever going to be another world war. But if there's a possibility there is, I could see that we'd be in a lot of trouble. We are importing most of our petrols and aviation fuels. Nearly all our heavy industry has gone offshore. Nearly all our manufacturing industry in general has gone offshore. There was a time we had a good shipbuilding industry. It's been fragmented. There was a time when we had a viable aircraft manufacturing industry. That's been broken down. There are quite a number of areas that where our country has gone backwards rather than forwards.
Okay. So what's your solution for these problems?
I put forward some ideas. One in particular is the development of Australia. There's a lot of open land in Australia. Now, rather than encourage people from other countries to come and develop our land, I'd rather see our people, our own people, our young people develop. Australia has a fine farming and agricultural record in producing livestock, wool, grains, horticultural products, fruits and so on. It's been done in the past. The Western Australian government many years ago introduced a scheme to encourage young people to develop country. I don't see any reason why that can't be done again if our government has the will to do it and supports particularly our young people to maintain our agricultural industries. And that's one idea. And it has been done in the past successfully. I don't see any reason why it can't be done again.
Yes, of course. Yes, if it was done, so it can be done again.
Yes.
So all these issues and solutions you described in your book.
I've put forward some ideas for solutions.
Okay.
I think most of them would work.
Okay. Certainly it's very interesting ideas and give people to think about, maybe to see different side of current situation, what's happening in Australia at the moment. So thank you, Terry, for writing such interesting and controversial book. So I hope you find some wonderful readers.
Thank you.
And I hope people will give you feedback about your book. So, but how people can contact you?
They can arrange to buy these books through inspiringbookshop.com.
To buy a book, but if people
buy a book?
Yes, inspiringbookshop.com.
Yes.
It is to buy the book.
And they're all.
But contact you. Do you have email?
They can do that. My email is all lowercase, one word. Terry B. TERRYB @homemail HOMEMAIL.com.au.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Terry.
Thank you, Irina.
It was a pleasure meeting you and talking to you.
Thank you.